Donald Trump went on a late-night anti-Semitic rant, and our breaking story is the very recent response from his target, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, from the halls of the Democrat National Convention. And I'll have that video of his scathing response for you in just a minute. Every day I wake up, I sip my coffee, and I look for what's trending in politics to report to you. And this morning I saw many headlines that said things like, Trump launches anti-Semitic attack on Josh Shapiro over DNC speech, and Trump goes off the rails in midnight attack. And I thought, there's the makings of a story, but I paused, and here's why. There are so many stories about Trump's racism, white nationalism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism that newsreaders now have a degree of fatigue over it. Imagine living in a world where a past and potential future president says racist and anti-Semitic things that it feels like Groundhog's Day. Well, that's exactly the world we live in. But this story is unique because his target is a very specific person who happens to be surrounded by microphones and cameras at this moment in time. So please buckle up as I show you what Josh Shapiro said to Trump from the DNC podium that triggered his late night rant. I'll show you the rant, and then I'll play Shapiro's pointed reaction.
Kamala Harris, well, she has spent her entire career making progress. Donald Trump, a man with no guardrails, wants to take away our rights and our freedoms. And listen, while he cloaks himself in the blanket of freedom, what he's offering isn't freedom at all. Because hear me on this, it's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read. No, it's not. And it's not freedom to tell women what they can do with their bodies. And hear me on this, it sure as hell isn't freedom to say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom.
And Trump's reaction to Shapiro's dig? He impulsively posted, the highly overrated Jewish governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, made a really bad and poorly delivered speech talking about freedom and fighting for Comrade Kamala Harris for president. Yet she hates Israel and will do nothing but make its journey through the complexities of survival as difficult as possible, hoping in the end that it will fail. Judge only by her actions. Yet Shapiro, for strictly political reasons, refused to acknowledge that I am the best friend that Israel and the Jewish people ever had. I have done more for Israel than any president, and frankly, I have done more for Israel than any person, and it's not even close. Shapiro has done nothing for Israel and never will. Comrade Kamala Harris, the radical left Marxist who stole the nomination from Crooked Joe, will do even less. Israel is in big trouble. And Shapiro was tracked down at the convention this morning for his response. Don't you just love real-time reactions?
The former president posted about you specifically and called you an overrated Jewish governor from Pennsylvania. Also said that you had not done anything for Israel, and yet he had. What's your response?
I mean, first off, I think it's clear over the last few weeks, Donald Trump is obsessed with me and obsessed with continuing to spew hate and division in our politics. He's someone who's routinely peddled anti-Semitic tropes like this. And look, remember, he's the guy who wanted Doug Mastriano to have this job. He's the guy who has been repeatedly rejected by the voters of Pennsylvania. He himself lost in 2020. All of his hand-picked candidates have lost. And I think he's heading for another loss, this time to Kamala Harris. I think y'all heard me talk last night at the DNC, the exact polar opposite of what Donald Trump is talking about. I'm talking about real freedom, bringing people together, accepting folks no matter what they look like, where they come from, who they love, who they pray to, saying this is a place for you. That's diametrically opposed to everything Donald Trump believes. And it's clear that he is going to continue to be the hateful, divisive person that he's always been in this campaign. And I give him his track record. It's clear he's setting himself up for another defeat.
Why do you think he is talking about you?
I think it's
you specifically.
I think it's a question for him. I mean, he's clearly obsessed, and he's sitting on the couch watching this stuff. I don't know why he is, but I think what's clear is that his words continue to be divisive. They continue to be hateful. And they continue to peddle anti-Semitic tropes.
As I mentioned, Trump's anti-Semitic comments about Governor Shapiro are part of a familiar and disgusting pattern. While it may feel like we're stuck in a political Groundhog Day, we cannot afford to grow complacent. A potential second Trump term presents a unique risk. As a one-term president, he will not be at all constrained by re-election concerns, and all bets will be off. In other words, we may not have seen the bottom of this pit of white nationalism, racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism. So regardless of any fatigue we may feel over this topic, it's crucial that we remain engaged, vigilant, and call out bigotry every time we see it. And of course, mobilize voters so this ideology cannot regain power. I'm Dan, thanks for watching, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.